views expressed on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Recovery Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this episode should not be taken as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. KHLT and Take 12 Recovery Radio are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. Well, greetings, my friends. I am the Monty Man from Take 12 Recovery Radio, and this is the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. And now, here are your Came to Believe Recovery podcasting broadcasters to launch us forth on this week's show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Came to Believe Recovery Podcast. My name is Alicia, and I'm here with Tom Williams and the Monty Man. Hello,
Yes.
guys.
Hello.
And little Jesus on Monty's microphone. If you're watching us, you can see that picture of Jesus with his green little sash.
There he is. It says, Jesus loves you on the little sash. See how long I can keep him on the microphone before he falls
Balancing, yeah, don't knock him off.
off. Is this the same Jesus we had on last week? And then I got a whole Petri dish full of them.
Amazon, you
little
can leave
Jesuses.
them
Yep.
at different places for people.
Yeah, or just somebody's grumpy in the grocery line. You want to brighten their day. Just hand it to them. Say, hey, this might help. You know what I mean? Well, it's all it's all part of bringing sunshine into somebody's life, as Tom would say, right?
Yeah.
Bring some sunshine. Hey, we got our logo on the background back here. The
I know.
Look at that.
Yeah, rising out of the ashes, and we certainly have done that. What's the topic, Alicia?
Getting uncomfortable.
I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yes. We have to get
God
uncomfortable
wants-
to grow and to transform.
Doesn't God want us to be comfy?
No, he does not. That's not in the Bible ever. It says actually your life will be harder and you'll have more trials, and that's a blessing.
Oh, you're just so full of good news.
Really?
Hey, Tom, what was that little sound clip from at the beginning?
The Odd Couple.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Oh, Alicia knows that. Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah, Tony
I
Randall,
watched that.
Jack
I don't
Klugman,
remember their names, but I remember watching that show.
Felix and Oscar,
Yeah, Jack Klugman
Tony Randall.
and Tony Randall. Yeah,
Was it black and white or was it color? Do you
it was
remember?
color.
It was
Was it
color.
color?
It
Yeah.
might have started black and white, but it was color.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, I remember
it
that.
was an offshoot from the movie, which was Jack Lemmon and
I didn't see that.
I can't think of the guy's name now. He had a cop show too, but yeah. So Felix Unger and Oscar Madison, who just were total opposites, are roommates, and they get along by not getting along. One of the best comedy shows out there, and I don't know if you can stream it now or not, but if you've never
Probably.
seen it, listeners, you really owe it to yourself to watch it. Hey, we got some stuff to do. We got
We got mailbag?
Yeah, we do have mailbag. So before we get to the topic, let's open up the mailbag.
You've got mail.
Mail in the mailbag, so open it now. We want to read our mail. Come on, take a bow.
All righty, the Came to Believe Recovery mailbag. This one comes from, we've got two. This one comes from, the handle here is Laratican. I think I've got that pronounced right. It says, do you have the citation to show how these companies are creating foods that combat GLP-1? I would love to read more on this. Okay, so what he's referring to is we did a show on sugar addiction, on food addiction. Remember that?
That was a long time ago.
And so GLP-1s are things like Ozempic, some of these others. Now they've got it in pill
Wegovy.
form. Yeah, what's it called?
Wegovy.
Wegovy.
There's three different ones, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And you wonder if there is something that shows how these companies are creating foods that combat GLP-1. So I thought I'd play this short sound clip. This is actually Tom, our own Tom Williams, a piece from that show that'll help the listeners to kind of figure out where I'm going
we're
here
talking
with this.
about.
So here's Tom.
Type 2 diabetes is a consequence.
Yes.
Overweight and obesity, which we'll talk about. Fatty liver disease. Chronic inflammation, which has all sorts of issues and problems with life, which they say most people have in America.
Every disease has inflammation as the root.
Inflammation's the biggie,
Everyone.
right? Isn't that the biggie?
Stroke and pancreatitis. Those are just a few things that come from sugar. Excess amounts of sugar being intaked into the body. So, according to the American Heart Association, this is statistics that Alicia found. The average American adult eats somewhere between 22 and 30 teaspoons worth of added sugar a day. So that's not all the sugar, that's the added sugar.
Yeesh. And so Loretican asked, do you have any citations that show how these companies are creating foods that combat GLP-1? I'm not sure what he's asking there, but I did a little bit of research and I found this. This is according to clevelandclinic.org. GLP-1, it affects the way your body signals hunger and digests food. Combined, these changes help manage blood sugar levels and trigger weight loss. They're a good medication, but they can cause gastrial problems, side effects like nausea and constipation. So it's important to consider what foods you eat while taking the medication. I think that's what he's asking. That way you can benefit from the wanted effects of your GLP-1 and minimize the unwanted ones. So here's the foods that you want to be eating if you're taking this medication. High fiber foods, foods like fruits and vegetables. Okay.
That's wrong. But go ahead.
Healthy fats. Yeah, I know you're not going to agree with all this. Healthy fats, foods rich in healthy fats such as avocados, nuts, and olive oil. And the lean proteins, foods like eggs and sausage and beef, et cetera, et cetera. Berries are low in sugar and high in antioxidants, which can help lower inflammation. And leafy greens are rich in fiber, vitamins, minerals, etc. By incorporating these foods into your diet, you can help combat the side effects of GLP-1 medications.
Also, good to know is that your body produces GLP-1 on its own if you eat right. And then, so that would be eating low carb foods, eat meat and veggies. And then your body produces it. And then that turns off the sugar rush. Basically, eat real foods. It's not that difficult.
Well,
Is it? Eat real food without a label and a box.
Now, when you've been doing, and we talk about life controlling issues on this show, right? And so we're talking about addictions and compulsivities and all that kind of stuff. If you've been doing something for years, yes, it is that difficult.
Right.
If
you're addicted to sugar, you stop eating sugar.
Yeah, but
if you're addicted to alcohol, you stop drinking alcohol.
But just to say, that's like saying, just say no. That's like telling a homeless person to buy a house.
Well,
it's not.
Why is it different from alcohol?
Because
stop eating processed food.
Because the person is powerless and they've lost the ability in choice because they don't have the power to say no.
Okay,
right?
so
they need a power.
Abstinence, it's the same thing, is it not?
But just to tell somebody to put down the Twinkies, that isn't a sufficient enough power to put down the Twinkies.
Right. Do the 12 steps with sugar, just like you did the 12 steps with alcohol. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It is possible. Do the steps with sugar.
No, she wants you to just put down the Twinkies.
Well, yeah, but if you need help, I needed help. That do the 12
Yeah.
steps.
You gotta do. You gotta. Hi, Jesus. Jesus is on my microphone. He's getting upset.
Don't knock him off.
So, the deal of it, I personally, I think that GLP-1s is a good jump start for some people that really need that. But
It's not a crutch. You need to
but it
learn
shouldn't
how
be-
to eat.
so what
Whether-
happens a lot of times is people will try to use these kinds of things and still eat the way they're eating.
Exactly. The food needs
is-
to change.
And that just ends up costing you and your insurance company a lot of money, and you're not getting anywhere.
Right.
But if you are eating this, if you are using this, these are some of the things that will help you not have bad gas, I guess. So, Loratican, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I did my
She
best.
could go on Google or and ChatGPT and find the answer to all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that to me it sounded like she was asking about how are food companies trying to overcome
Sabotage.
GLP-1, sabotage it. But
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know how that would be beneficial to them. I mean, they don't ever like advertise that they want to make people unhealthy and overweight. They want to make you healthy. So I would think they wouldn't want to do that. You know,
Food companies want you to be addicted to their junk food. They
yeah,
make
but
more
I mean,
money.
with GLP-1, you're saying because, well, I see that it's making people not want sugar, and they
And
want
it
to eat
hurts
everything
the
with sugar.
processed food companies.
Yeah, they
because
just
they're
can't make
losing
cheap
money.
Food. They can make healthier food, but it's not as cheap. It's not full of sugar. Yeah. Well, there you go.
Eat whole
They
foods.
they're trying to
Period.
get around it. Yeah. I feel better when I'm doing that. I'm back on a good wave. Well, all right. What else we got, Monty?
Okay, and this is our second one. Hello from San Luis Obispo. You know where that is?
Yes.
California. Yeah. On the
Beautiful
coast.
community, yeah. First, thank you for this wonderful podcast and for the dedication to the solution that you three carry for all of us. I was wondering if any of you have ever been part of a drug addicts or alcoholics intervention, and if you could point me in the right direction for talking with an interventionist. I'm at the end of my rope with a family member and truly believe that an intervention is needed. Thank you for your help, Joe S. Yes, I've got some suggestions for you. This kind of is up my alley, but what say you guys first? Let me hear from you guys. What do you think about interventions?
I have not participated or been anything in that. But Tom, have you?
I haven't been in them. I've heard about them. I mean, I think for the family and for people to say, you know, enough is enough, to stop the things that are hurting them, to make a statement that if you keep going, we're not going to take it anymore, you know, setting boundaries type of thing. Yeah, I would be for it. I'd tell people, yes, stop. But if you think that's going to get them to stop, I think you got to be careful with that. Mm-hmm. You know,
Right.
I mean, you give them an ultimatum. It needs to be a boundary, not an ultimatum. You can say, you know, from now on, these are the lines we're not crossing with you anymore. We would love to help you. We'd love it if you would quit. We'd love it, but that's healthy because you got to
Yeah,
protect
it's
yourself.
placing their addiction on their side, and then
Yeah.
they choose to do whatever they
And
want
just
with
the
it.
next time you come home late, the door will be locked.
Yep.
That's how it's going to go.
So
Next phone call, you're not getting. Da-da-da-da. And then you got to stick to it. And then the addict, everybody hopes that's going to do it. You know, this will be the final
Yeah.
thing.
That
And
might
you know,
not
once in a
be.
while it is. It's a bottom. The addicts know it, and they reach the end of their rope. And once they've fooled everybody for the last time, it's not that doesn't work. To get them to go into some kind of program, and then remember, it all depends what program they go in. Then you know.
Right.
But
Right.
I've never done one. Have you, Monty?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been a part of a few of them. I will say the most effective ones, although there's a firmness there, there's never a shaming property to it. You know what I mean? So it's like one of the things that might be said is, if I'm talking to you, Alicia, and we're intervening on you, I might say something like, I need to let you know that I'm no longer going to be enabling you in the following ways. And, you know, I'm not going to provide you a place to live while you're currently using narcotics or whatever it is. I'm not going to I'm not going to make it easy for you to go from point A to point B by giving you rides everywhere. I'm not, I'm not going to participate in your addiction in the following ways, in whatever ways those are. So what you're doing is you're going after the addict and not the individual. You're going after the addiction and not the person, because we've been shamed enough. This mentality in the rooms of the 12-steppers sometimes that shut up, sit down, you have nothing to say, take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth and listen. That kind of approach does not work. We've been chewed up and spit out already. We don't need any more of that, and we're not going to receive it. But when somebody sets a boundary and says, I am not going to do this, that's it isn't, they're not shaming you. They're just letting you know, but I've got some suggestions, Joe, for you. A good friend of mine, Matt Brown, he's the CEO of Freedom Interventions, freedominterventions.com. One of the best, guy really knows his stuff, interventionists in the country, Matt Brown from Freedom Interventions. Also, Intervention on Call with Sam Davis. Sam's been on the show, not this show, but the Take 12 show before. Intervention on Call is really cool. You call the number, and they have several interventionists on staff, and they'll talk to you to determine if you even need an intervention. There are, unfortunately, interventionists out there that are out there to make a buck. You don't want to be using them. You want to be using people that have compassion for you and your loved one, that can determine, hey, you know what? You don't need to be spending $2,000 on an intervention to have somebody fly out and do this. Here's some tools you can do on your own. Or they'll say, you don't want to be dealing with this on your own, in this case.
Right.
Here's some things that we can do. We can do some video, Zoom call things. There's stuff you can do before you go to a full-on in-person intervention, such as something you might see on the TV show Intervention, for instance. Which only shows just a snippet of what really goes on in an intervention. So I would definitely, that would be my first step. I would go to interventiononcall.com. I would call them, and I would talk through it and find out what you can do and what's going on here before you jump into spend all that, because they're expensive. I'm not going to kid you here, but they're not nearly as expensive as losing your loved one to addiction. So those are my suggestions for that. But sometimes, yes, it is. Some people say, well, just tell the person to go to a meeting. Yeah, okay. Again, tell a homeless person to buy a house. I mean, that's
Right.
just, if they're powerless.
They have to know that they're powerless and they're gonna they need to want help.
Well, go ahead, Tom.
I mean, here, and there's a warning here. So I've seen these backfire and have the person that intervened just lose it
Yeah.
and split and never come back and go, and they've lost all contact with them, all anything, and then they're done. And they didn't really want that. They didn't want them
Right.
to completely, but it can go that way. And you got to say to them, they might get up and walk out and never come back,
Sure.
and go overboard. There's a risk to these.
There
But
is
then
no-
again, it's not our fault that happened. That was
I know.
that person's choice, and it's not on us.
well, and-
I know some
not.
people who chose not to do it because they were afraid. They said, better a drunk son or daughter than a dead one. And they choose to take the long road instead of that,
Yeah.
knowing that there was a risk that might happen.
That's why I love Intervention on Call, because they can assess the situation
Oh, that's
and
good.
help you,
Yeah.
and help you determine what course of action to take or not take.
Yeah, because I don't want to be that interventionist who really clearly, this may not work and I cannot be blamed, kind of thing. And I'm sure that's
Right.
the conversation that needs to happen ahead of time. Really go in with your eyes open. before you do it.
I've got a suggestion for you, Joe, and anybody that's listening that may be curious about interventions. He's since passed away, but Tony Messbarger, one of the country's leading interventionists for years. I did a 4-part series on Take 12 Recovery Radio on understanding intervention. The first one is understanding intervention, getting the family on board, treatment and transport, how to actually transport the person. I mean, there's a whole art to it, actually. I mean, you have people jump, in the middle of going to Seattle to a treatment center, jumping out of the guy's car, the interventionist's car, in the middle of traffic, stuff like that, right? So if you go to take12radio.com and click on recovery workshops, there's a page that'll say understanding intervention. Click on that. There are 4 one-hour broadcasts on that topic. Listen to those. So you get an understanding of what a proper intervention is and what it isn't, because you have to be very careful. You're dealing with someone who is asleep and their addict is awake. You can't go, well, why are you doing what you're doing? It makes no sense. Can't you just make sense of it? No, they can't, because their best self is asleep. And you can't wake that person up by shaking your bony finger in their face with the tough love thing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. The key here is that none of us ever give in to the addict. We don't give in to the addict. And we have to remember that there's a difference between your loved one who's asleep and the addict who's running the show. So there's that there. All right. Well, if you would like to email us with a question or comment, a disagreement or a suggestion, the email address is Monty, MONTY, at cametobelieverecovery.org. Let's close the mailbag.
Thank you for your mail, it means so much. A little piece of you just waiting to clutch.
You've got mail.
All right. We'll be right back after this. Check this out. Hey there, my friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's show, a production of the world's oldest recovery talk and recovery music radio station, Take 12 Recovery Radio. But did you know that we have thousands of archive shows, recovery workshops, and recovery music, all available for you for fun and for free? So here's an idea. Right after this show, visit our website at take12radio.com and subscribe on any of the podcasting platforms listed there. Why not begin enjoying the best in recovery talk and recovery music, all at take12radio.com on your internet dial. Welcome back to the show. You've tuned into the Came to Believe Recovery podcast, a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio and cametobelieverecovery.org. That is the website. Please check out cametobelieverecovery.org for more information about this organization and what we're doing and retreats and all sorts of cool stuff. All right, the topic, get uncomfortable. I don't want to.
I knew you wouldn't like it. You gotta embrace the uncomfortable.
So why is that? Why do we have to go down this road of, why?
Because if we want to change and if we want to transform, that's only for you guys. If you're not, then keep doing what you're doing. Then we need to get uncomfortable. We need to change some things maybe, or change directions, whether it's in our mindset, in our recovery walk, in our spiritual disciplines, in our nutrition, in our weightlifting, relationships. If something is icky, then something needs to change, and it's probably going to be uncomfortable because it's new to us,
Yeah.
or the other people aren't going to like it.
You know, never have I seen more examples of people stopping because something's too uncomfortable in the recovery world as when they get to step 4. This is too much, kind of thing, you know, and that's looking at the man in the mirror, basically.
Well, in the rooms, it is too much because they're writing pages and pages and pages,
Oh,
and
my
that's not
gosh.
how it was done.
No. And that's one of the reasons why people stop, right? Because they were taught wrong. Of course, you're exhausted. You're sick and tired of digging up all this stuff when that's not what the point of it is. And that is very uncomfortable. The other one is in step 9, people making amends. Because that can be a very uncomfortable situation, and that's why sometimes the amends process you should not do by yourself. But yeah, I think step 4 and step 9 are very uncomfortable for people for a myriad of reasons, and that's where we tend to lose people because they're taught wrong, I think.
For sure.
And there's a change that's not uncomfortable, right? There's some kind of easy things. We quit drinking, and we'll do some things that are, you almost are looking forward to it. Now that you're not drinking and you do it, you can make some changes. That's not really what we're talking about. I mean, that's not the deep change. The deep change are the things that, like, are an ingrained habit that make you uncomfortable. You're not okay with it. It pushes against you. It's, it's going to make some pivot. But those tend to be the biggest changes. At least they were in my life when you're uncomfortable. And it's different than pain, right? Being uncomfortable and being in pain are two different things. But being uncomfortable in a situation, it is, as you grow in your maturity and as you're doing your 10, 11, and 12, part is half of what it is. I don't know what you think, Alicia. As you're making amends, as you're keeping your slate clean, as you're breaking habits, most of breaking bad habits are uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
You know? Now, Alicia and I were talking yesterday, Monty, about like some uncomfortable signals, growth, and change that we actually like, Alicia and I.
At the gym,
like,
bring
we know,
it.
people say to me, and this is just one category because we can go to others, but it's valid in some things, like in more than just the gym. We get training, right? And we never really say it hurts, it's painful. We get to that place where you can't do anymore, and it's really uncomfortable. You're pushing your body beyond what it can do, so it's reacting, and it's taking extra effort, and it's everything in your being wants to stop, and you push through. But that uncomfortable, because we've learned, signals gain. Like, I know if I'm pushing through this uncomfortable, I'm going to get better. And we seek it. We make sure that we're there each time. So it has some validity across categories. When you push into something that feels uncomfortable, once you've been through it and you realize, once I push through this is going to get really good. You will tend to maybe not shy away from the uncomfortable, knowing, hey, I'm going to learn something out of this. I don't know. What do you think, Alicia?
No, I agree. And like in the Bible, it says perseverance and endurance and all that, and self-discipline. And so it's all biblical. We're not
So
just
you-
making this up.
And the scripture verse you're talking about, it says, so you will be lacking in nothing.
Right.
Isn't that amazing?
Right.
Yeah.
One of the questions you ask here is, where are you hesitant to get uncomfortable, or why are you hesitant to get uncomfortable? And I think you're talking about that first hurdle, right? Because I know. So I was sharing with these guys off the air that I've got 8 more pounds to go, and I will have lost 100 pounds.
Oof.
So beginning that journey, right, there was no evidence of the hard work yet. Right. But the hard work had to be, I had to engage that even with no evidence. And I think that's one reason why people are hesitant to go down the uncomfortable road is because there's no result yet. There's no, or if there is, it's not visible because especially for addicts and alcoholics, instant gratification takes way too long for us, right? We want a proof now. So it's very challenging. So if we don't get results, we give up. The truth of the matter is, though, most change does not have an instant result in it, right? Most, I don't think it's something that you've got to ask. You've got to ask God to help you through that hurdle to get to the next spot. Because once you start seeing some change, once you start feeling better, once you start all that, then it's easier to continue in that thing. I mean, I've got 8 more pounds, and I'm excited about that. Mm-hmm. I don't have anything hindering me to the point where I'm like, oh, 8 more pounds. No, I'm like 8 more pounds.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's consistency that we are needing. We need to be consistent.
So
Not
what do you-
perfect, but consistent.
I know you can tell a person facts, though. You can say, okay, the day that you put down the tobacco, the very day, within the first hour, your body starts to heal. And that is true. The very day.
But they don't care about that.
But they don't. But see, you can tell somebody that. You can show them the scientific evidence.
Right.
and it's
Just
not
like with
gonna be
sugar. The day you stop eating sugar,
Body
you
starts
will be
to-
healthier and live longer. They don't care.
I
They
know
want to
that-
eat it.
But I think there's two. Let's distinguish between like pain, like real like withdrawals, and uncomfortable
Ooh,
because they're not.
yeah,
So
they're not the same.
uncomfortable is the idea of quitting smoking. I'm uncomfortable with you pushing out a habit of mine. It's my pet. It's the thing I love. Once you quit, the withdrawals and the pain and the cravings, that's not uncomfortable. That's real,
Yes, it
like
is.
physical stuff. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it's not what we're talking about. There's a difference to that. You've now committed to go through the withdrawal process, which is,
That
I
can
guess
be
it's-
painful. That can
yeah,
be
it could be like physically painful. Like we were
Yes.
talking about, if you run, Alicia runs on her knee, and it hurts. And I asked her the other
What?
day,
For 2 years.
yeah, it
Run on
hurt.
your knee?
No,
Well,
I mean,
she-
my knees are bad and I keep
runs
Oh,
with
I
the
thought
back
you
running.
run on
end.
your
That's what I
knees and
mean.
you run on your
jumping
Yeah.
and
You hurt-
lunging.
And I said, well, that's painful. I mean, of course, we said, what'd the doctor say, and what did Alicia say?
I have not gone to the doctor.
Yeah, like a brain surgeon. Like she should go to the doctor, right?
I don't need a doctor.
So what's the uncomfortable? The uncomfortable is she doesn't want to go to the doctor and hear what he has to say. The knee is painful. See what I mean?
Yeah.
What's that? That's where we got to go. There's something about going to that doctor that she doesn't want to have to deal with. And so that's the uncomfortable, right? But
Yeah.
you like uncomfortable.
I do.
See, I'm talking her into the
Well,
doctor.
I want to
So
go
call the
into
doctor.
personal experiences with our lives. Like, where are we uncomfortable? Like, we are like,
Yeah, let's
get uncomfortable,
let's
everybody.
Get away from this
Where-
knee really quickly. So we're
where-
not talking about you anymore.
No, I'll give you examples.
I'm kidding.
I'll give you a lot of examples, actually. My uncomfortability is with people. No surprise. And so I need to push myself to talk to people and look in their eyes and not stop talking and running away. And yesterday I gave a compliment to somebody at the coffee shop and I almost fainted. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's true. I have a problem connecting with people, talking to people in my yoga classes. I mean, it is so hard for me. So I'm getting their names.
You're the coach. You're the teacher. What?
I know, but I have this mask on, and then I leave. So but that's my uncomfortable, is staying in that uncomfortable, talking to them, giving them a compliment, ask a question rather than, hi, how are you? More. Do a little bit more than that,
engage with
Alicia.
them. Yeah.
And so that's my uncomfortable thing. And
Well, yeah, they might want to be friends.
well, the thing is, in my head, I'm saying they don't like me. They don't want to be friends. They hate me. They're just tolerating me. They think I'm fat, ugly, stupid. That's where I go. So I rather just not go there, so then I don't have to see that that's true.
But if you're thinking all that stuff, isn't that uncomfortable?
Oh, it totally.
To be
That's
in
where
mindset?
my phrase is, choose your hard, Alicia.
Yeah,
It's
there
hard
you go.
to run away and not have more friends and think all this. And it's also hard to have a conversation, learn their names. And some of them aren't going to like me. I want to say it's fine, but it's not fine.
And mine is same sort like yours, Alicia. And the uncomfortable is confrontation. Or in my case, in leadership, to have to do any kind of consequences or any kind of coaching of an employee or a volunteer or anybody. And it's uncomfortable because of the potential consequence, right? There isn't a consequence that could happen. There's a choice that this person becomes very upset and quits or leaves. So it's uncomfortable. Now you might, all the reasoning might say, well, then that's what was supposed to happen, right? Don't let bad behavior continue because of that.
But it's still uncomfortable.
But it's uncomfortable because that might happen. And that's a little bit of a people-pleasing thing. It's an uncomfortable. The uncomfortable isn't that I'm needing to say something or do something that I generally think out to make sure that it's I'm dealing with a thing, not the person. You know what I mean? But the uncomfortable is what's going to happen. What if they leave? And I'm willing to let them, in some cases, continue the bad behavior because I'm not willing to have this break if it's going to happen. So then they'll hate me. I'm stupid. I'm fat. All like you, Alicia.
Well, you don't think you're fat. That's mine.
Yeah.
Monty's
Well,
just
no.
laughing.
I have a little. The other day I went,
I'm
I
fat.
gotta be a little. Yeah, I'm fat. I mean, I said the words, but
I'm like, I'm fat. So what? What's your point?
Well, the point is my addiction pops in. I'm fat. I need to starve myself and run 10 miles, and nobody loves me, and I'm worthless, and I might as well just die.
So I
That's where I go.
had a guy literally interrupt a meeting when somebody was sharing us and pointed at me and says, "Meyer, you're a control freak." And I'm like, oh, the only thing I could think of was,
Yep.
your point?
yeah, right.
So it's like, get in line, bro.
Yeah. Well, you're right. So why shouldn't you be, right, Monty? I mean, I'm right about everything, right? So the other thing that we led down the road when Alicia and I were talking, pre-gaming this yesterday, was every uncomfortable you trying to push through something, or is it a red flag that maybe you should be stopping something? Ooh.
That's
right?
where my knee came in.
Well, that's neat, but that's pain. But I mean, there's a red flag. People who are in bad relationships and they are uncomfortable and they're staying and they're not wanting to confront. And when it all in the end is, it's not that you need to push through this and confront and fix it. It's that maybe
You need to
you're not
leave.
supposed to be in it.
Yeah.
Or
Good
quit
point.
that job, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a red flag that God has placed there that's giving you to say, hey, time out. You need to separate yourself from this situation. Quit
Yeah.
trying to fix it, or quit being miserable in it.
That's when you need a community of people to talk to that are safe and that can talk into your life and that you accept what they say. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I think that's a really important one because I have in my life met more than I've gotten better at what's uncomfortable to fix that I know I got to push through this because it's good for me. I've gotten better at that, much better. But what I haven't gotten better at is this is uncomfortable because this isn't good for me. I need to move out of this. I do that less. I will stick with something way longer than I need to. And then, it's the whole procrastination. It's never better than when it happens, The thing we preach from the podium when we talk about step 4 or step 6 and 7,
Yeah.
procrastinating, that it rarely gets better. You know.
Right, right. Don't you
So-
think it's because of the familiarity of the uncomfortable situation? Like, let's say a person that's in an abusive relationship, and people say, "Well, why did they just leave?" Well, because they've learned how to maneuver it. At least everything else in their life's out of control, and they can't do anything about it because there's all this mess. But at least when it comes to Uncle Joe or Aunt Patty, I'm staying in the relationship because even though it's abusive, I know how to respond to it. I know,
Right.
I
It's
know
comfortable
how-
for them.
I
in
know,
a way.
I know how, and so it becomes more uncomfortable to leave something than it does to stay in the situation that's.
It's hard to do that, but people, they always say that men seek their mother, or they marry their mother because they're, even if they were not great, it's a characteristics that your mother did are comfortable, even if they were not, if they were dysfunctional, they're comfortable. They make you feel like you're at home. So that's what you end up going for until you heal from it, until you do a 12-step program, begin working at 10, 11, and 12, and begin to make different choices and realize that wasn't okay, and you do deserve to not be treated that way. But that's not always the case.
Monty,
other
I want to
thi-
hear from you first,
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
where are you hesitant?
Sounds like we're all the problem, Alicia, you notice?
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, I'm perfect. Where do you hesitate to be uncomfortable, Monty?
Yes.
Here's Jesus,
Jesus on my microphone.
his
All right.
shield.
So this is very uncomfortable for me. What I'm about to share with you.
Good. Let's
It
do
makes
it.
my skin crawl, right? Going into a new situation where there's people I don't know. I'll give you an example. Our life group or house church or whatever you want to call it, our small group that we have that a lot of people do these days, in churches. And we started going to this one that we've been going to now for a few years. But making the initial move to walk through the door and there's these people that I don't know, right? I just clam up. I mean, I'm just like, people say, but you're such an extrovert and all that. Not really. Not really. And so I'll sit there and what's really even more uncomfortable is if Marcia isn't with me. If she's with me, I've got kind of a security blanket in her, right? She's with me. She's, hey, what'd you think? I don't know. That's, yeah. We could kind of bounce off. But if she's not there and I got to walk into a situation where I know no one, more times than not, I won't go.
But you stuck with it for 2 years now, yes?
No, I did. And I did. I went over that hurdle. And one of the reasons, to their credit, is that they made it very easy for me to get over that hurdle. They were very comforting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even with that, it's very difficult. So it's one of the reasons that I don't engage with the men's ministry at our church, because all they talk about is hammers and saws and hunting and race cars, and that's none of that. I have none of that in common with these men whatsoever. But when it gets down to biblical principles, I have everything in common with them. But I went to one of their functions, and it was like, I see these people at church every week, but nobody's talking to me. You know what I mean? And one guy started talking to me, and so what Roger McDermott would say, who's one of our volunteers listeners for Came to Believe Recovery, what he would tell me is, well, what are you bringing to the table?
Exactly.
Right. But
Don't go to get. Go
Right.
to give.
But it's like, if I do have something in common with these men, I don't know that I want to find out because it's just too uncomfortable. So I don't go. It just makes my skin crawl to even think of it, going by myself. And I can't take my wife to the men's fellowship.
Well, is this something, let's go deeper, is this something you want to overcome, or you think you should, or no? No.
I really don't.
Because of your pride, or because you just don't?
What?
It's your pride and your ego.
No, because it's uncomfortable and I don't want to do it.
Oh, well, maybe. Tom, what do you think?
I mean, why? I mean, do I have to go to the men's thing? And I go to Life Group. We go to two churches. We go to my son's church once a month, where he's the worship pastor, and then we have our church that we go to normally. You know, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is pride and ego. I'll cop to it if it is, but I'm like, we do well enough to do what we're doing. I mean, what do you want from me? I'm 70 years old. I'm grumpy and bald, and you get me to church. You're lucky
Is
I'm
that
there.
an excuse though, or
Probably
not?
Probably.
No.
I'm just being real here. I
Well,
don't like it.
if you're not going because you're uncomfortable, or you're going because it's a conscious choice, like I got asked to go to the men's group. You know, I mean, I was kind of told at this church that we're going to 6 or 8 months ago. You know, they see you and the men come right up to you. We have a men's group this week. Can you come? And I said, no, I'm all right. You know, I'll think about it, but I'm not looking for it. It wasn't at all that I was intimidated or fearing about uncomfortable. I don't want to go to the men's group because I do enough of kind of ministry stuff, and
See,
we
that's
have what
where
we
I'm
do here.
That's where I'm
That
at.
I said, fine. And this gentleman, who was a nice enough guy, was really pushing. I said, Guy, let me just tell you, I do a lot of connection with men. I have an accountability group. I have people I talk to. I feed into a community. I really do. And I appreciate what you're doing, but I have my community and I'm okay. So I made the choice. I'm not going to, and they want to go to a Bible study. I go, well, what are you doing in the Bible study? Is it an academic endeavor where you guys are just like reading John and talking about it academically? That's good for you. I don't want to do that. If you want to go to a Bible study and we pick scripture to discuss how it uplifts our lives, which would be like an AA meeting, a real living in the go
Right.
type of a meeting,
Right.
Building your
Type of a
relationship with
a
Jesus.
relationship thing. Well, I'll go to that. I would go to that. But we get a lot of that with this. You know, I mean, we on this show spend more time in those kind of things with each other, like
Yes.
improving ourselves in groups and accountability, than 9 out of 10 people in the world.
I agree.
They just don't do what we do. So I think if you're uncomfortable, I don't get that anymore. I was when you're Monty, but I was relating to you because I used to have that, and I grew through that uncomfortable. And like, we're going to dinner tonight. I'm going to dinner with a group of people, and I'm the one who doesn't know anybody, right? And it's a group of people that kind of know each other very well, and a couple of kind of quote unquote know-it-alls and New York City fights, and I was given a little bit of warning about, you know, now this and that, and I was like, which could make you uncomfortable, Monty. If it was you, you might be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with this. And I just stopped and said, you know, it's not my first time I've ever been with strangers. I said, I think I'll be all right. You know?
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't get that I mean, I don't know how that happened, Monty. It was over time.
Yeah.
And trial
So
and error.
Let me add this. Because it's very
Okay.
possible. It's very possible that Jason and Amy Sims may be listening. They're the hosts of our life group / house church.
Oh.
They call it house church. This talk. So we meet on every other Tuesday, right? And then my 12-step home group is the other every other Tuesdays, because they've changed the date now. I have to tell you that if there's something that I loathe more than what I'm about to say, I don't know what it is. Taco Tuesday.
You
Oh,
can
I've
have
heard
the
about
meat.
this. Yes, we
Somebody, please help the boy.
Oh, and both your meetings are on Tuesdays, right? So
Yes.
it's always tacos.
So, but at house church, yeah, it's always tacos. I hate them. I love, and then fish taco. They go out and catch bass in some lake, and they bring this fish and they shove it in a taco.
Oh yeah, quit that group immediately.
Oh my gosh!
Just
Yeah.
eat the meat and don't eat the
No,
tortillas.
I don't want any of it. It's just gross. It's
No,
just,
quit the group. Just quit. Give up.
Eat beforehand. That's what I do.
So I bring my smoothie with
Right.
me, or I bring my
That's-
whatever
that's
it is.
full.
You know.
Well,
Why?
so before,
Why tacos? Why? And I'm told, well, it's easy to fix, and everybody brings a little bit.
It is. It
Okay,
is.
that's nice. But see, it's the things that I can eat. Right, I'm left with onions.
Meat.
My wife was in the office part of the studio. She overheard what I was just saying. Hey, Marcia, come here for a second.
Taco Tuesday.
I'm gonna bring her in on this real quick. Hey, come here. Okay, this is for our listeners. Say this is my beautiful wife, Marcia. There she is.
Hey, Marcia.
Okay, do you love Taco Tuesday?
It's okay.
Everybody loves Taco Tuesday.
Right? Isn't it just like the most ridiculous thing ever?
You need to calm down.
Wow.
She says I need
There
to
you
calm
go.
down.
He does.
So you hear that once in a while, huh, Marcia?
You say you hear that once in a while.
How horrible Taco Tuesday is.
How horrible tacos is it? Do you hear that from me a lot?
Oh, every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Thank you, honey.
That's today.
Yeah. Yeah. Tonight.
Well, no, today. Yeah, but see, they canceled today for they're doing. Oh, it's every other Tuesday, and last Tuesday they canceled because it was prayer and fasting week at their church. They go to a different church, and this week is the every other one. So I'm at my AA
Other
home
one.
group tonight. But no, it's just. And here's the thing. So the guys all get together, and I'm comfortable in my life group now, but the guys still, they all kind of gather and they're talking about stuff I have no interest in whatsoever. And so I go sit with the gals, which I have no problem with. I love to listen to them talk about their knitting, and it's usually because of our age, it's usually medical issues and stuff like that. I have no problem with that, but I have nothing in common with these men other than the Bible.
One thing I wanted to mention that Alicia and I talk about a lot, and we've written a lot about this actually, guys, and it's, if you're in the Salvation Army ARC, you're hearing some of this in RA, Recovery Assurance classes, is this idea of embracing uncomfortable, which we advocate for. Because as a person in recovery, or recovered but working your 10, 11, and 12, you really should embrace the uncomfortable, the functional uncomfortable, the comfortable that we're talking about that leads to growth. And sometimes we'll hear people say this language, which is, it's a struggle and it's so painful. It's just too painful and struggle. And they're not saying physical pain. They're saying, just to press through it. And we try to change that language to say, well, wait a minute. If you said it's going to take a little effort and you might be uncomfortable, does that sound better? And most people can embrace that and say, all right, because you're going to have to take a little effort. So is it a struggle? No, but because a struggle, is a negative word. It's like recovering.
It implies you're
right?
fighting against something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, you're struggling
Instead
and
of
you might
moving with
lose.
it.
But if I have to put a little effort, well, that doesn't have to be negative, right? I'm going to put some effort, and then I might be uncomfortable, meaning I got to change, and it's not painful. So we encourage people to try to just change your language and think of it that way. Well, it's effort, and I might be uncomfortable instead of, and I'll often say that if someone says that, if they say that to me, I'll say, but what if you just made a little effort and it was uncomfortable? Well, all right, that's okay. So Alicia and I have written, and we speak about this whenever we always put it in the gym world a lot of times, but it fits a lot of other things. I mean, with Alicia, I remember I still do this we started it, and when I'm with her anywhere, if we're in a Starbucks, I make her go talk to somebody. And she doesn't like it, but she does it. So she makes the effort, and it's uncomfortable.
Totally
But
uncomfortable.
she's supported, but she goes and does it. And then afterwards I go, is that so bad? And she goes, no. And then we get into some fun conversation, because once you're through the barrier, it's okay, generally. So, there are some neat little, language and some little mindset changes that we should make. But I think in general, evaluate the uncomfortable, right? In case it's a red flag. Is that a red or a green flag? Is it a red flag, the uncomfortable meaning I should stop, or is it an uncomfortable I need to fix this, right? There's a difference. And but it's important for, I think, listeners, embracing uncomfortable means you got to look at the uncomfortable and do not shy away from uncomfortable. Fix what it is if you want to grow. And you will grow.
Totally.
Right?
Well, and then flat out, if you're not, then what's in the way? Fear, procrastination. Step 7 worked. Are you doing step 10?
Right.
We need to go through it.
Right. If you're
That's our
not going,
life.
if you're not going forward, you're generally not staying level. You're going backwards.
You're going backwards, and we don't want
And
that.
we, that's an encouragement. We have to be. So, I mean, I get if someone said, well, the rest of your life is going to be a struggle and pain. You're just going to struggle through it for the rest of your life. You're recovered. Which you hear in recovery rooms, right, Monty? You'll hear that.
Yes, we're sick.
It's a struggle,
sick, sick.
and
Yeah.
it's going to be a hard thing. So who wants that life?
Right.
Like, that's not attractive to me. But if someone says, yeah, we're going to learn how to make an effort, and we're going to get uncomfortable, but we're going to grow.
We're going to practice these principles in all our affairs.
Right, this language, but this is what came to believe recovery. This is what the original founders, the steps, this is what this process was meant to do. Get us the tools to be able to do this. And so that's where you guys got to be. That's the work, right? Do the work. You right? You hear that? Which again sounds horrible, right? I got to work.
Well,
What do you
it's
mean work?
perspective, though. Like
I
work
know.
and discipline, grit. I love it.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
One of the things that on the talking points that you sent us, Alicia, says being uncomfortable as a believer means getting a front row seat to see God do some of His best work in our lives and in the lives of others.
Well, there's a mic drop.
Woo! Yeah.
And it gives us an opportunity to pray and to lean on Him. Because we're afraid or we're uncomfortable, then lean on Him and ask for direction and wisdom. And
Isn't it interesting that just about every uncomfortable situation or experience that we have talked about on this episode has been surrounded around other people? How we interact with each other, right? It's
Yeah.
not so much, I got to clean the fish tank tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's not. Is that uncomfortable? No, it's not uncomfortable.
that's
it's a hassle.
procrastination.
It's procrastination or it's a hassle, but it's not good. But this people thing, this dealing with people and then giving them a pass by calling them people-y. And I do it all the time since I heard you start saying that term.
They are people-y.
You
And I'm
know,
people-y.
But
too.
it's better than punching them in the nose.
Right, and we're,
People-y,
and we're supposed to be in community with
right?
people, and even we go to biblically where it says if you are coming to worship me and know that you have something against your brother, in other words, you have some issue to deal with, you're supposed to go take care of that first. So as us as quote unquote believers, as people growing in a conscious contact with a living, loving God,
Yeah.
we have to do this, and here's the upside, guys. The uncomfortable parts get less and less. It's not all the time, right? When
Very
you get
true.
good and you get at it, you're not uncomfortable all the time.
But then
and-
something else will pop up.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Tom. Let me ask you
Right.
this question though, and we are out of time. But I got to ask this question: Do you guys think that if you're living a life that has no discomfort in it whatsoever, that might be a red flag?
Totally.
Totally.
Yes. If you have zero conflict in your marriage, there's a problem. If you never fight, ever, or fight is a bad word, whatever, that's a problem. You're people pleasing, you're walking on
Tension. Let's
eggshells.
call it tension.
Yeah,
There's tension.
something's going to come up at some
Marsha, we're
point.
due for a fight.
And there-
I wouldn't want-
Well, I mean, I think, Monty, that's
Not all
important
the
because,
time.
you can look at some things and say God promises, read the promises in the steps, the ninth and the 10th step. They're pretty rosy, They
are pretty
You do
rosy.
it. So it does paint a picture. And in the Salvation Army, guys, when we're studying, because we work with them closely and the officers and the Wesleyan theology of holiness. I mean, the idea that you could achieve what they call Christian perfection or complete holiness, you would have no troubles. But nobody's gotten there.
That's spiritual progress, not spiritual perfection.
Yeah.
right?
So if you had a life where you had no, I would think you weren't growing and you're probably avoiding things. I mean, could it be, and I'm talking through it, but could it be that you just decided to insulate yourself to such a place that you really don't get uncomfortable because you just don't get into situations? You don't know
if
anybody.
you become complacent,
Right.
that's an issue.
But I think
think.
that, yeah, I think that's an issue. If someone said, I have found my life, I'm going to be calm here. The way I'm not going to have to worry is I'm just not going to go out and meet anybody, and I don't need to, and this and that and the other thing. But I think that would signal
We
something.
need community for
So my-
growth.
Yeah, I would say, yes, it's a red flag, Monty. If you say, I don't ever have any opportunity to be uncomfortable, it's a
Right.
red flag. I mean, and we would say, you're not growing. You have to move from what you don't know to new things. And every new thing creates some sort of change as your perspective. And it's uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be a struggle, quote unquote, or work.
It can be a stretch, though. You can be stretched.
Yeah.
And that's
Stretch.
good. That's
These
good.
are all much better terms to use.
Yeah.
And also should be encouraging to people. And, those, even the Bible words, they say struggle and persevere, they do make it sound like a kind of a horrible thing. A lot of it in the persecution doesn't necessarily mean physical persecution. It means persecution for what you believe. So while those guys were physically abused and persecuted, I can't believe what some of the apostles, I mean,
Right.
historically, this is accurate, what these guys went through.
Yeah.
They were all drawn and quartered and boiled in oil and all for
Hung
the faith.
upside down.
Hung up. Oh, crazy. I mean, only one of them died natural causes, I think, right, Monty? I
John,
think only
yeah.
one, yeah.
Yeah, John.
And the others were horrible deaths, like
Yep.
medieval stuff. Crazy. All right, we're going on. This was such a good one, and we
This
knew this
was.
was
I
going to
really
be a
enjoyed
really good one. The more that we're here, I think we got to write some more things on this. Alicia, I think I'm going to change one of our discipleship modules. If there isn't one that's on uncomfortable, which I think there is, we're going to make one. Because I think it's such an important aspect. Because I can think anybody that listened to this, at least it got you thinking about it and maybe gave you a better perspective. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I do know the Word of God says, be grateful in all things. All things.
Well,
Thank-
that's a whole show.
That is a whole show.
Being grateful
It is.
and all
Yes, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, listen, we have a closing song by CeCe Winans that I think this really fits well. I'll tell you what the name of it is here in a minute. I have a request for you listeners. If you're watching on our YouTube feed, please click the like button or the thumbs up or whatever it is. It helps with our analytics. I'm looking into this about search engine optimization. It's not an inexpensive task. It costs money. It's about to actually optimize 4 to 5 shows a month. It's about $250 a month to do that, and that's not something that we're prepared to do right now on Take 12 Recovery Radio Productions. But I'm looking into it. But definitely, when you hit that like button or when you hit that share button, even on the audio podcast, iHeartRadio or Spotify or any of those, it helps with our analytics. It helps get the word out there. More people can access this show and the other shows at Take 12 Radio if you will do that. That's all you got to do. You don't have to comment, send us an email. Just hit that like button. It helps.
So, Monty, can I make a comment on that just to
Yeah.
clarify? Because I think I learned this. If you want your show boosted by the social media, the podcasters or something, if you want it to be accessible to more people, you can pay to have that happen.
Yes, you
like
can.
Monty's talking about search engine optimization. But a lot of likes, they'll do it for you because they want to promote things that are
Getting
popular.
likes. Yep.
So what we're saying, lots of likes Same thing on Facebook. It reaches more people. They do it because they want it. So there's a way for us
Yeah,
to do it. So
and that's-
it's two ways. That's what
That's
he's
better.
at. So there's a reason for it. I mean, it'll happen if you guys give us likes. Just give them, because they'll see them all and then say, oh, people want to see this. And they'll push it out without us
They'll
having
push
to spend money.
Yep. Amen. I'm all for that, buddy. You betcha. All right. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tom and Alicia. Once again, great show. Our closing song is entitled Lord. Here's one for you. I'm not okay. Check it out. And then I'll come back with my closing thoughts.
Lord, I'm not okay. I'm breaking in the silence, trying not to fall apart. But you see every tear I hide. I've been carrying this weight like a storm in my chest. But you whisper in the darkness, child, come and find your rest. When the night feels heavy and the light seems far away, you remind me of your promise. I am here, I will stay. Lord, I'm not okay, but you're holding me together. When my strength is gone, your love lasts forever. In the middle of my weakness, you come and make a way. I fall into your arms, 'cause Lord, I'm not okay. I've tried to be strong, tried to stand without trembling, but the truth is I'm weary, and my soul is remembering every moment you saved me, every valley you carried me through. So I lift my hands and surrender, 'cause all I need is you. When the cold surround me and my hope begins to fade, you remind me of your mercy. I am with you, don't be afraid. Lord, I'm not okay, but you're holding me together. When my strength is gone, your love lasts forever. In the middle of my weakness, you come and make a way. I fall into your arms, 'cause Lord, I'm not okay. You take my broken pieces and you call them beautiful. You breathe your life inside me till my heart beats full again. Oh, I'm safe inside your presence. No more hiding, no pretending. You are healing every burden with a love that never ends. Lord, I'm not okay, but you're holding me together. What I can't carry, you carry forever. When I'm lost in the shadows, you still light the way. So I lean on you, Jesus. 'Cause Lord, I'm not okay. You say, my child, you're never alone. And in your arms, I'm finally home.
Admitting that we're not okay can be the beginning of a major change in direction for many of us. A direction that will, now watch this, more than likely be uncomfortable. You see, doing things that are uncomfortable is so beneficial because growth almost always lives just outside our comfort zones. When we choose what's familiar and easy, well, we tend to stay the same. Same habits, same thinking, same results. Discomfort, on the other hand, challenges our assumptions and stretches our abilities. Whether it's having a hard conversation, trying something new, or facing a fear we'd rather avoid, these moments force us to develop resilience, humility, and courage. And over time, what once felt intimidating becomes manageable, and we gain confidence, not because life got easier, but because we got stronger. It's something to think about. Came to Believe Recovery strives to create and promote opportunities for life-changing spiritual experiences for individuals and families suffering from all forms of addiction. For more information, help, and support, visit cametobelieverecovery.org. I'd like to thank you for allowing me to be your host on this episode of the Came to Believe Recovery podcast. And I would encourage you to like, bookmark, and subscribe to this show. When you do, you will join the Take 12 Recovery Radio family and will be notified of all of our recovery-focused shows throughout the week. Until our next broadcast, when we provide the essential spiritual tools needed to thrive by sharing our experience, our strength, and our hope through our stories of how we came to believe.
This has been a production of Take 12 Recovery Radio.
Yeah, kitty, kitty, kitty. Meow.
Woof, woof.
This has been a Chicken and a Pig production.